Hey, good morning to all you beautiful people this morning. I'm in Garmisch, Pakistan, I think is what the last part of it is. Garmisch. I'm in Garmisch, Germany, right across the border from Austria. In fact, we tapped into Austria a little bit yesterday. Did a presentation here in Garmisch. It's a beautiful town. I wanted to go over some more of the signs and symptoms while I'm in the hotel room this morning and just go over some more of these, do a few more videos real quick. So getting back onto part 2 of signs and symptoms to look out for. I'm just looking at my laptop, so please forgive me on that. Some of the signs and symptoms that could trigger possible suicidal ideations could definitely be recent trauma or crisis. If there's something that's been going on for a long period of time, that is definitely a trauma or crisis that is building, which is building stress in that person's life, which guides them to that extra weight upon their shoulders. This will probably present in forms of increased irritability, aggression, annoyance, being withdrawn from people. So those are some signs. Another thing is difficulty sleeping. So difficulty sleeping, this is a huge one, guys. Sleep for me is one of the most important things in overcoming suicidal ideations. We'll get into a video specifically on that. It'll probably be a slightly longer video when we go over that. But changes in sleep, such as they're having difficulty falling asleep, difficulty staying asleep. This is different than their previous situation. All these things have to do with changes from the baseline. So when they have this increased difficulty falling asleep, staying asleep, more nightmares might be popping up, and disturbing dreams as well. And when I say disturbing dreams, that could be maybe somebody broke up with someone else, and the person who got broken up on is having recurrent memory dreams of that person that they were in love with. And so maybe that's a disturbing dream for them. Maybe the disturbing dream is going over in different ways some of the traumas that had happened to them at one point or another in life. So those things, what this does when the person has changes in their sleep patterns, they're negative, it changes some of the chemicals, the neurotransmitters in their brain. And some of those chemicals you got, like dopamine, serotonin, acetylcholine, epinephrine, norepinephrine. So it changes some of those chemicals, and that affects mood. It can definitely affect anxiety. It can definitely affect depression. It can help affect actually connection with other people, which is a huge thing. So watch for those. Those are some huge symptoms that can be highly distressful. Self-harm and increased risk-taking behaviors. Okay, so this is a big one. So maybe they're doing cutting, maybe they're doing other forms of self-harm and burning, things like that. When that starts augmenting more, you need to watch out for it. Sometimes you'll see cutters who will have it in an obvious display on their arms, and somebody might have cigarette butts or burns on their knuckles. You see things like that. However, there's some people who hide it and they'll put it on their thighs because they can cover that a little bit more. They're doing it more as an internal, real life demonstration of pain instead of them doing it as a visible display for other people. I've seen cuts on some people who are just like little teeny thin paper cuts on the arm, and I've seen other people with gouges, huge, wide, deep cuts that we have to do dressing changes on. And so watch for those signs. In addition to other self-harm risks, things you might see increased uptake of alcoholic consumption, so non-healthy levels of alcoholic consumption, increased levels or the starting / initiation of illegal drugs, possibly controlled drugs like Oxycontin as well, Oxycontin, Narco, Percocet, those kinds of drugs, as well as street drugs, such as increased marijuana use. I know a lot of people don't like marijuana use, and they talk negatively about marijuana. They talk positively about marijuana use, I mean to say. But if we increase that dosage to more than twice a week, it increases anxiety levels. Maybe it's more risky drugs such as heroin, cocaine, meth, fentanyl is a huge one nowadays. And so the increase of all those different things show risk-taking behaviors, which is a sign that they disvalue their own life and are taking risks that might end their life. Another big one on this is sexual behavior, increased risky sexual behavior. So maybe it's risky sexual acts with multiple partners. Maybe it's unprotected sex. Maybe it's the adoption into extreme forms of BDSM, these kinds of different concepts, putting themselves in harm's way that way. It could be showing a devaluation of who they are. Once again, all of these are just signs and symptoms. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily these things that's going to mean that they will commit suicide. I just wanted to read a little bit from a line that an excerpt that I put from my book. It says, seeking out and being aware of some of the signs and symptoms of possible self-harm or suicide are some of the greatest tools that we can use to help someone that is in pain or contemplating ending their life. Some of the signs are found by keying in on words that someone says. Others can be noted by watching their behavior. So if you would like to, I offer a free chapter of my book that talks about all these signs and symptoms, and that's for anybody, anywhere. All you got to do is go to www.staystrongbook.com. Go on there and just find download chapter, and it downloads this chapter instantly to your email automatically, so that you can start having some of these tools available for you to look out for with your family members and loved ones, or those that you take care of in a work setting or volunteer type setting. That's going to be it for today. Love you guys all, and have a good day. I'm going to come back on in just a minute with another video.